Here's Abbie May, who used to be part of Leicester Young Life with us, and she now works for Yorkshire Camp. She's going to bring us Luke chapter 19.
Throughout Luke's orderly account, geographical locations are constantly mentioned, pinpointing where Jesus is. In this passage, in Luke chapter 19, we see the most pivotal moment in the mapping of the journey of Jesus as he reaches his final destination, Jerusalem. As we look in this passage, we see that in verse 1, he is entering and passing through Jericho. In verse 11, he is near Jerusalem. In verse 28, he is going up to Jerusalem. In verse 41, he drew near and saw the city. And finally, in verse 45, he went into the temple in Jerusalem. The key verse in this passage and the reason for why Jesus went to Jerusalem can be seen in verse 10. It says, "For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save that which was lost." Let me repeat that. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save that which was lost. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't realise the danger you were in, or you were lost without being aware that you were? Well, in this passage, we see a group of people who are lost and in danger without realising it. We see them in verses 35 to verses 38, and they're praising Jesus and glorifying him and acknowledging him as king by spreading clothes on the road before him, which was only done for royalty, and by saying, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest." But these same people were the people that Jesus wept over in verse 41. You see, even though they appeared to be ready for Jesus as they welcomed him into Jerusalem, Jesus wept over them because he knew the future judgment they had to face. He knew that spiritually they were lost. Jesus told a parable in verses 11 to 27. And the parable was about a king who had come back, and the people did not want him ruling over them. And in verse 27, it shows the judgment they faced. It says, "But bring here those enemies of mine who did not want me to reign over them, and slay them before me." And these people that we're speaking about in this passage, they are going to face the same judgment because they're rejecting Jesus in their hearts. From all outward appearance, they seem ready for him, but in the heart, they're not. And we can see that in verse 45 to the end of the passage, as they wanted the Jesus that was king, but they didn't want the Jesus that interfered with their lives, as they didn't want to live for God. And because of it, they sought to destroy him. And they were the same people that wanted to crucify him 2 weeks later. You see, the King who has come, he's coming back, and he won't come back humbly on a colt with peace entering Jerusalem. He will come back in all of his glory, declaring judgment. Maybe you are lost right now without even realising it, and there's this future judgment you will face too. But fortunately, Jesus has declared that he's come to seek and to save the lost. And he does that by going to Jerusalem and dying on the cross for us so that we could be reconciled with God. The King who has come is coming back. Are you ready for him?
Abbie, thanks for those thoughts in Luke chapter 19. I hope you enjoyed them too.